All right, so we're going to talk GI Joes here now. GI Joe Classified series from Hasbro is probably one of the best toy lines out in 2022. It might be the best toy line of 2022. Who knows? But they produce some of the best action figures. I mean, this list was pretty easy to make. There was only about roughly 20 or so releases, not counting, I think, the re-releases of the retro carded Walmart exclusives, but 20 new releases. All of these figures are worthy mentions of honorable mentions, to be honest, so I'm not even going to go through them all. So let's just go ahead and go right into my top 10 list. Let me know your top 10 list down below in the comment section, but let's see what mine looks like. Again, this is subjective, my personal opinion, and this is also coming from a collector or a fan that wasn't even really a fan of G.I. Joe's. I never grew up watching it. I never really collected it until the classified series. So, um, technically, I'm not really a G.I. Joe fan. I don't know, but I am definitely a fan of the classified series, even though I don't even know some of these characters and their backgrounds. I have to look up almost half of them. So this is coming from one of those type of peoples. But this toy line is so good that it brought me into it. You know, someone that really doesn't even care about GI Joes, isn't really attached to it, but these figures are so damn good and they just keep getting better and better. So let's start off here. Number 10, I have to give it to the twins, Zaymot and Tomax here. These are really cool figures. Like, I mean, all these are really cool figures, but these look great. All of them look great. They've been doing such awesome work. And I had to put these together because obviously they're twins, and I think it'd be stupid if you choose one over the other. They're basically the same figures. So they both are going to be number 10. Number 9 goes to a figure I just recently opened, Zarana. Again, know nothing about her, but the figure itself is awesome. The colors on it pop. The sculpt looks great. I love that abdomen area. It looks very nice. It's a nice female buck, good articulation, and they're doing a lot of pinless stuff when it comes to GI Joe, so it's nice to see that. Number 8, I'll give it to the Bat. This is a Build-A-Figure, and it's one of their best Build-A-Figures. They have a lot of Build-A-Figures, of course, a lot of troops, a lot of Cobra uh, grunts or whatever. So Bat is one of my favorite ones, and it's a nice cheap army builder, and I recommend it because the figure itself is fantastic. Number 7 is another army builder. I'm gonna give it to the Crimson Guard. This is a newer release. Some people may not even have it yet, but it came out a couple weeks ago for me. I got it a couple weeks ago. Opened it up. I love the weapons that these GI Joe figures come with. They come with very nicely detailed, realistic guns, removable magazines, and suppressors sometimes. So it's very cool to see that. But the Crimson Guard looks absolutely gorgeous. The scope, the paint apps looks so good on here. So I really love this figure a lot. Another figure I really love a lot is the number 6 spot Sergeant Slaughter. We all know who Sergeant Slaughter is. He's from WWF, WWE, and he has a million action figures made from a million different lines. Most recently, the Action Force line. But man, does this figure just absolutely demolish all those other Sergeant Slaughter figures. And what is very nice about this release is that he comes with a miniature version of himself as an action figure. So this action figure can hold an action figure version of himself. It even comes mint on card on a retro card itself. This is just, it's so cool, and it's one of my favorite figures of the year for sure. It's just, as an action figure collector, I kind of geeked out over this little accessory piece. Number 5, starting off our top 5 list, goes to Sergeant Stalker. Another great sculpt, another great articulated figure, and tons of weapons, man. So much fun factor in these figures, and they just keep getting better and better. So Sergeant Stalker takes number 5 spot. Number 4 will be going to Spirit Iron Knife with Freedom Eagle. This figure came out in the beginning of 2022, barely scraping into 2022. I think some people may have gotten it in 2021. I'm not sure, but I got it in 2022, and it's one of my favorite figures in the collection as well. It's nice to see a Native American represented in GI Joe's here, like he was in the TV show, of course, in the comics. So it's nice to see it in action figure format. It came out very nice. I love this figure. Starting off our number 3 spot is going to go to the classic Storm Shadow. Again, this was part of the wave that Spirit Iron Knife came from, and this Storm Shadow is by far the best Storm Shadow. This is the classic look that we've all been waiting for, and Hasbro absolutely delivered with this release. Absolutely nice. My favorite Storm Shadow by far. Number 2 goes to the deluxe Dr. Mindbender figure. This figure is awesome. The only thing I have a gripe on is the black dye coming from his cloak or his cape or whatever you want to call it. It rubs off on these shoulders. I haven't seen that one person receive one without the black dye rubbed on the shoulders. So unfortunately, we're all going through that issue, and Hasbro did not really fix it at all. I contacted them and they didn't care about it, to be honest with you. So that's unfortunate, but the figure itself, other than that, is fantastic. It's a great sculpt. It's a great mold. It is Dr. Mindbender finally made into Classified Series 6-inch form in all its glory. And speaking of all its glory, we all know this was coming. As number one, as everyone's number one, it's going to Serpentor. This is the exclusive release with the Chariot, and it is just as good as you would imagine it. Actually, I imagine this figure not being all that. And when I opened them up, just recently too, I just got this figure. I haven't even opened them up, but I opened them up before making this list because I wanted to make sure I give every figure a fighting chance. And man, am I glad, because he made my number one spot. It's a more taller figure. He's a bigger scale because he's just a tall character, and his face sculpt is by far probably the best face sculpt I've seen in G.I. Joe Classified Series. So this figure is definitely deserving of number one. A lot of people have been choosing this figure as their number one figure of all of 2022, and those are probably the big giant G.I. Joe fans out there, and it's very deserving of it because it's a very beautiful figure in hand, nicely sculpted, nicely painted, nice pinless articulation as well, and it's just a good figure, and probably the best G.I. Joe figure they've made so far out of the whole line. But this whole line has been absolutely killing it. I can't speak about it enough. It's like, this is a line that when it first came out, I was really hesitant because, like I said, I'm not a G.I. Joe fan. I'm not trying to get into a line that I know nothing about the characters and I really don't care about them. So why am I buying these figures? I just wanted to try them out. It was a new G.I. Joe 6-inch line. I got the first wave, Duke, Snake Eyes, I think Roadblock was part of it, and they satisfied me enough to keep going, and the line has just been getting better and better with each release. I haven't seen it going down. I see it going up every year, and they've made it a little bit easier to obtain these figures now. It was a little rough in the beginning. It's getting a little better now. It's still not exactly on that Marvel Legends scale, but man, I think these figures are doing better than Marvel Legends at some aspects. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know your top 10 or top 5 lists of G.I. Joe Classified Series, and check out my other top 10 videos. I did a top 10 Marvel Legends video, and I did a top 10 overall all action figures minus Hot Toys of 2022. So check out those videos if you missed out on those, and I really appreciate all your support this past year. Let's make 2023 an even better year. Let's see what it has in store for us in terms of action figures and G.I. Joe. So as always, guys, I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, take care, take it easy, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.